Hey everyone, welcome to Visalia Talks, your local talk show that brings you everything you need to know about what's going on right here in your community. And I've got a treat with us right now. I've got Mike Pesto, like the sauce, from My 97.5. How are you, Mike?
Wonderful. Thank you for letting me be here today.
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for coming in and checking out the studio.
I've walked past the building. I couldn't tell you how many times. Our studio is literally, if you can look through the windows, about 2 or 3 blocks to the east. And
east-south.
I walk past every day because I take a little walk after the show when I get off the air at 10, and I walk basically down to Redwood and back.
Oh, there you
Because
go.
I've got my Apple Watch and it barks at me if I don't close all my circles. So I got to close all my circles every day.
Do you close all your circles?
Every
I think
once in a while?
once in my life I closed like one of them, and I had a whole party for myself.
Give yourself a high five at that point.
Absolutely, yeah. That thing just yells at me. I had to take it off being so loud.
The funny thing is, when I'm actually on the air, I stand up because I've always had so much nervous energy when I'm on the air. I try not to think about the thousands of people that I hope are listening every morning.
Yeah.
But as soon as you hit that on button and you know the fader is up, it's like it gets you. So you have that rush of adrenaline, if you will. So I can't sit down and do the show. I sound too much like John Tesh if I do that. And that's his thing. No offense to John Tesh fans, but I'm gonna let him do him. I got to do me.
You got to do you. How long have you been doing radio?
I have been, since 1988.
Nice.
Believe it or not, I've been told this by everyone I know. I look a lot old. I am a lot older than I look.
I look a lot older.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I hope nobody's telling you look a lot older.
Take care of that in post. We'll edit that out. But yeah, 1988, right out of high school.
Love it.
And I was working at a station in the Salinas Valley, 102.5 KDON. That's back when they still had the analog dials.
Yes,
so you could
I just
say
brought
and a
that up
half.
today. Yeah.
And then everything went digital, and a half didn't make any sense. So I was there then. I went to San Francisco State. I was there for a while, worked at a couple of classic stations up there, KFRC and KYA, if anyone's familiar with Bay Area radio. Worked with some legends there, John McFlanagan, Don St. John, just some Sylvia Chacon, who I worked with quite a bit, who I'm still friends with, Lisa St. Regis, who trained me when I was at KDON.
Love it.
Again, if Bay Area, if you look up those names, you'll know exactly who they are. Moved to Las Vegas, worked there for a while at a country station.
How long did you last in Las Vegas?
2 stints I was there. I worked at a sports radio network
again.
first.
He went once and then he tried it again.
I double dipped my ship, yeah. So I was there, and both times I was there, very much a bachelor, and stories we'll talk about with the edited version. But yeah, went there first for the sports radio network. Loved it. Came back for job reasons. Got another chance to go back there working at a country station, KWNR.
Fun.
And was there for another 2.5. So all told, about 5 years I lived in Las Vegas. And that was when I was first experienced heat.
Oh.
Because I was born and raised in the Chicagoland area, and where hot is 100 with 90% humidity. Hot in Vegas is 125 with like 5% humidity.
Yeah.
And everyone told me before I moved there, because I dreaded that kind of heat.
Yeah.
It's a different type of heat. I'm like, well, yeah, so is putting your head in an oven, but it's still hot.
Yeah, yeah.
But I hate saying this because it's not funny. It's true, though. Yeah. I mean, once you get it, and it's the same here in the Valley. It's a little more humid now because of the ag, but it's still a very dry heat here compared to what you get in the Midwest or in the South.
So with it being so humid, does it make it less hot?
It feels less hot here.
Less hot here.
Because I remember
without the humidity. Okay, because when I went to Florida last year, it's super humid there as well, and it can be super hot, and so it was like a miserable type of hot.
Exactly.
It was gross.
You go outside.
It's
and
gross.
If you've got just a shirt on, your shirt just sticks right to
your hair instantly.
I remember when I was living in Peoria, when I was working at a station there for a while. I came up with the term, and I mentioned it on the air, eye sweat. Because as you're mowing the lawn, you actually get the sweat in your eyes, and you have to you need windshield wet. Yes, because of the salt.
The salt from the sweat.
Everyone complains about the valley heat. Trust me, this is nothing.
And I was just thinking about that literally like 2 days ago. I was like, I don't think people can complain about the weather here, because we get like a week of really, really like really bad weather
Yeah.
every once in a while.
Yeah.
And then it's like it's fine. Yeah, it's hot, but turn your AC on. You're fine.
I had to laugh when I first moved here. 2011 is when I moved to the Valley, because I had been in, maybe we'll mention it, I was at K-Jug for the longest time, and then went to my 97.5 about 6 years or so ago. And I moved here, and I was like looking at all the TV channels, and I saw ABC 30 and storm-warned 30 weather. Mm-hmm. And I lived here and I thought, oh, well, so there's a lot of storms here in the Valley. You live here for a year, storm-warned what?
I know.
We get a drizzle here, and people think, oh, it's storming. This is nothing.
Yeah, it's like barely more than a sprinkle. Like,
yeah. The movie Twisters, that kind of does happen in Oklahoma. And Tornado Alley, which Illinois, where I lived, was part of that.
Oh, that's crazy. I always wonder, why would people even choose to live in something called Tornado Alley? Like, what?
Well, and then the counter argument that is, well, why would you live in some place prone to earthquakes?
True.
And we had one in San Diego just a couple of days ago. It was a 5.2.
I thought it was like 6 point something.
Oh, maybe they've upped it since then. But
they're trying to be dramatic.
Yeah, well,
they're just trying to.
It's near Hollywood. That's their job. But yeah, I've had that conversation again on the air, and I always get outvoted because you're always fearful of what you don't know.
Yes.
If you're born and raised in California, chances are you've experienced at least one earthquake in your entire life.
For sure.
If you're in the Midwest, chances are you've experienced some type of storm, whether a tornado or otherwise. The difference is there are tornado warnings. We haven't figured out the earthquake warning thing yet. The dogs may start barking, but you may think it's just the postman.
So, but I thought that's with like the seismologist machines. I thought you could track an earthquake because they can sense
the larger ones
when the Earth is moving.
Like the Loma Prieta, but it's like
they don't
seconds.
Got it figured out. They act like they got it figured out. They ain't got it figured out.
The government has it all figured out. They just won't tell us.
They won't tell us. It's up to us to figure it out on our own, huh? I know there's seismology machines out there. I learned that when I was working in the geotechnical place. Look at that. I'm so smart. I worked in a geotechnical place. A civil engineering firm. That's what it was called. And they did teach me about that stuff for like 5 minutes.
Okay.
But there's trackers.
Only the stuff you can know. The stuff that
Only
the
the
public
stuff they
can know.
allow us to know, yeah.
The stuff that they talk about in the skivs, we can't know about that.
Oh, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. To be a fly on the wall, man.
That would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I want to know all that stuff. You just started a conversation. I don't think
no.
The community's ready for me. Don't bring this side of me out yet.
You heard it here first. Yeah.
That's right. You heard it here first. I'm one of them. No, no, absolutely. But okay, so let's talk a little bit more about you.
Sure.
What do you love? What makes you happy, Mike?
Oh boy.
What makes you happy?
Being a husband.
Aw.
Being a dad. This is going to get me a little bit. Providing some of the things for my family that my parents were able to provide for me. My parents did so well for themselves. And in fact, we just talked about this. We have, if anyone wants to check it out, we have a Mike and Mike's Off-Air podcast. Myself and Mike O'Neill, who is on afternoons on the new My 97.5. He's also our production director. So once a week, we just sit down in the studio for 15, 20 minutes. We talk about stuff. We talked about taxes because we recorded it just yesterday. And for the first time ever, I owe taxes this year because of some things we messed up, my wife and I behind the scenes. But we talked about, do you let your kids know your financial situation to a certain degree with whatever level you think they can handle it? My son's 16, my daughter's 13. And so we sat down with them. We told them, listen, we're not going to be able to go out to dinner as often as you want.
Yeah.
We may not be able to go to Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm this summer because we've got to get this bill paid down first. Once we do, we'll reward the family if we can all just tighten it up a little bit.
Absolutely.
Without giving them too many details. My parents never let me know about things financially. I kind of had to learn the ropes myself. I learned years later just how well they did for themselves. When I was younger, they took my sister and I to Walt Disney World. And we stayed at the Polynesian. We opened our windows every day. We saw Cinderella's castle on the other side of Seven Seas Lagoon. If you've ever been or ever seen videos, it's incredible. And we spent a whole week there. I told my wife at some point we need to do that for them. granted, we aren't in the same tax bracket as my folks were, but if it takes us 2 years, 3 years, whatever it takes, we need to save up for it. And we did. And we took the flight there. We took the bus there. They had no idea about the room accommodations. I made sure that they had the curtains closed when we walked in. So when we walked in the room, I told the kids to open the window. And sure enough, they opened the window and they saw the castle. And
that magical moment.
My wife thought until that time that I was doing it for me, to be nostalgic. It wasn't until she saw how much it affected me being able to financially give that to them. She saw, this trip wasn't for you. I'm like, no, it's for them. Yeah. So that's what gets me. I do a toy drive every year, which maybe you've heard about. It's a marathon toy drive that for the past 4 years now we've done at A&W on Mooney.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's for Ann's Kids for Christmas. It's a great organization that helps out kids in the Visalia Unified School District who are identified by teachers as having some serious needs. Not just things they want for Christmas, but these are kids showing up to school with holes in their shoes.
Yep.
And
no backpacks.
And no hoodies. So they get gloves, they get sweaters, they get hoodies, they get socks and shoes, they get books, and they get a toy from Santa. And the school district identifies them so they know these aren't kids that are trying to milk the system. These are kids that can't learn if they're freezing in a classroom. So thanks to Oriana Grappetti, who works for the radio station, she told me about Benita Jordan, who does all the work, most of the work with Ann's Kids for Christmas. And for Friday morning at 6 a.m. until the following Sunday at noon, I am on location, sleeping at night in a plastic toy house, one of those Fisher-Price houses that my daughter used to have. It's too small for her now. But I sleep in that house at night. Rain, shine, whatever it is. A couple years ago, it rained literally the entire time I was out there. And I'm there collecting toys for Ann's Kids for Christmas because, again, I see the need that others have and what brings me joy. Even if I never get a chance to get a thank you from anyone, it's not about me. It's just letting people know about these kids. And my thinking is once they know about the need, I've always thought the best about people, that if they truly know what the need is and if they're in any position to help, they will. So that's what focuses the need is the novelty of this 50-something-year-old sleeping in this toy plastic house. I invite people to come by and I tell them, don't believe me that I'm going to be here tonight at 3 o'clock in the morning sleeping. See for yourself, knock on the door, and just make sure when you come by you also have toys for the kids.
Absolutely.
And we will make sure they're taken care of, or a cash or check donation so that Ann's Kids for Christmas can get the other things the kids need.
I love that. So what makes you happy is making the kids happy.
Yeah, making other people happy and knowing that I had something to do with their happiness. You helped make that happen. I was privileged at one point to be the president of the board of directors for Big Brothers Big Sisters of Central California. So I know Diane Pekanicum very well. I got to know her when I first moved here. And I was a big brother with Big Brothers Big Sisters when I lived in Peoria. So I was familiar with the organization, found out that they are here locally as well, got involved, got on the board, got to be the president of the board of directors, and that was a blast for the couple of years I got a chance to do that.
Yeah. I love it. What a life, yeah?
Yeah, it's
I've following your joy.
I've kind of toyed around with the idea of some point, if not writing a book, doing some type of memoir because of the things I've had a chance to experience in the years I've been, and mostly all because of radio. I've been ringside at a Mike Tyson fight.
Love it.
When he got out of prison, Francois Botha, I think, was his first fight when he got out of prison. I was there for that fight. I was at the press conference before and after. I still have audio somewhere.
Nice.
I've had a chance to talk with Garth Brooks. I've met Rascal Flatts. I've met Johnny Cash before he passed away. I introduced Willie Nelson when he was on stage. One of the cool things I had a chance to do when I lived in Las Vegas, Jeff Foxworthy.
Yes.
Actually, no, it wasn't Jeff Foxworthy. It was Bill Engvall. Bill Engvall was performing at one of the casinos there. And being one of the big country stations, whenever they had CMA week going on, we were all asked to do different things. Now, I was an assistant production director, copywriter, and I was on the air on weekends.
Okay.
But we were so stretched thin that I was asked to be there and introduce the person who was on before Bill Engvall.
Okay.
2 nights in a row. So the first night I got there, and I forget the name of that comedian, but I met him, shook his hand. He's like, so how much time do you think I need? I'm like 30, 45 seconds. He's like, you don't want to do a little stand-up? Like,
oh, man.
No, I'm not. That's not.
You're like, but with it.
Well, so the first night I just went up there, I introduced myself, said what the radio station, hey, thanks for being here, and then I introduced him. And I thought about it, I'm like, I will never
have the opportunity
have this
again?
opportunity again in my entire life. So the next night, I saw him again.
Did you prepare something?
I did. You did. So the next night I went in and said, hey, listen, the offer to do 5 minutes, does that still stand? He's like, yeah, sure, if you want. I mean, I think he begrudgingly said yes. So I went up there and I introduced myself and I did 5 minutes on dealing with valley heat.
Okay.
And how you can tell the locals from the tourists. And the locals are the ones walking around with the gallon milk jugs of ice water, whereas the tourists are walking around with the big tall glasses like this filled with rum and who knows what else. So that's how you can instantly tell tourists from locals on Las Vegas Strip.
Yeah.
And I did 5 minutes on that. I maybe got a chuckle or two because I could hear them thinking, who the hell is this guy? And where's Bill Engvall? So I wrapped myself up probably after about 3.5 minutes. Mm-hmm. And I said, but I know you're not here for me. You're here for Bill Engvall. He's coming up in just a bit. But before he comes out, let me introduce to you. And then again, so I can honestly say I've done comedy on the Las Vegas Strip.
There you go. Look at that. Jack of all the trades.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I think it's a certain personality that I bet you, or tell me if I'm wrong, when somebody offers you something, do you just take it?
Yes.
Like the opportunities. Like I say take any opportunity that comes to you. You don't know what's going to come from it. You don't know what type of joy it's going to bring you to do that. Mm-hmm. You don't. I say go for it, and it's a special person. I think that has the guts. I don't know. To say yes to really almost anything.
The only thing
really.
I haven't said yes to yet is bungee jumping. I've done skydiving.
Oh, I want to skydive.
I
so
did skydiving, and I think there's a place in Fresno that does it,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to do it again. I've only done it once.
Oh,
I have to do it again on my birthday this year.
Mine.
But bungee jumping in Las Vegas, I don't know if Circus Hotel Casino still does it, but they used to have a bungee jumping area. Mm-hmm. I'm deathly afraid of heights.
Oh.
What got me was I saw the elevator that takes you up. And then the platform that you walk out on, it's corrugated.
Oh, gosh.
So you can see the holes through the floor.
No.
Knowing me, I wouldn't have been able to get out of the elevator. But I can jump out of an airplane. And someone asked me, well, why? Because in an airplane, you're so high up, you really can't tell.
Yeah.
From our vantage point, if we were a little closer to the side of the building, I would be scooting my chair more this way.
Yeah, because you can see too much down there.
No.
And I get it because skydive I want to do so badly, and I will. I just haven't ran into someone who will do it with me. But yes, let's do it. Let's make it a thing.
I'm down.
The bungee jumping to me just seems so much more dangerous for some reason.
I've snapped too many rubber bands to know it's a possibility.
Absolutely.
Now, granted, that's like thousands of rubber bands all tied together, but all it takes is one to pop and convince all of his little buddies to pop too.
Yeah, because
and next
the one
thing you know,
pops it and pops the other ones, and they just all go down the line. Yeah, I know. It's a little more scary to me.
Yeah.
To me too. Absolutely. Yeah. You guys got anything coming up with the station?
The one thing that we are doing every Friday, and we've been having a blast with this, and I'm really hoping this is something that takes off for the station and maybe gets us to do some more things with this mindset. I kind of told you a little bit about it before we started rolling, is we do a totally 80s Friday night.
Yes.
Every single Friday. Mike O'Neill kicks it off, who does afternoons for us at 5 o'clock, but from 5 till midnight. In fact, our program director, Randy Hendricks, will pop on as well once Mike O'Neill gets off the air. And he'll take it all the way to midnight because he's having a blast with this. And it was his idea to do this as well. And we'll play everything from the 80s you could think of. Now, I've given, if Randy watches this, Randy, I've given you some ideas with this. And you know I have. Ideas like maybe doing a whole hour dedicated to movie soundtracks.
Nice.
Songs from movies or songs from TV shows.
Yeah.
Or duets from the 80s or just nothing but alternative hits from the 80s, which we still do. We'll mix those in, but maybe theme hours.
All the different genres of the 80s.
Yeah. So right now it's a hodgepodge of everything.
Yeah.
We'll go from Depeche Mode to Def Leppard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so where else can you find a station that has a mix like that? And we still are the one of the newest, if not the newest, station in the Valley.
So Friday nights, totally 80s Friday nights. Yep. Definitely something to listen to. Aside from any time, just throw it on in your car when you're driving somewhere. Just put it on. It's good. It's good music.
Exactly.
But Friday nights, party.
Yeah,
it's an 80s
with
party.
that vibe in particular.
Yeah.
I mean, we take it back to the 80s, back when cruising on Mooney was legal to do. I think it's legal again now.
Is it?
From what I remember. So
Let's bring
cruise
it
up and down
back.
Mooney, just crank it up.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's bring back cruising, guys. Let's do it. Let's start it off. Absolutely. Okay, so you guys got the Friday nights going on.
Yeah.
Anything else we need to look out for from the station?
We are going to be out and about in as many places as we possibly can all summer long. I try to set things up every single morning. I'm on every single day. Monday through Friday, I'm on 6 to 10, actually Saturday as well, 6 to 10, Sundays 6 to noon. So
literally 7 days a week.
Literally 7 days a week you can listen. And during the weekdays, I definitely try to set things up for Jennifer Grant, who does our midday show, and then Mike O'Neill, who takes care of you at night. We always keep you up to date with everything on our socials.
Yeah.
Also online at my975fm.com. We've got a ton of content up there for you as well. And one of the things I always try to do is make sure that since our signal, of the 4 stations with Momentum Broadcasting, it has the smallest signal range. It's basically Kingsburg down to McFarland.
Okay.
Whereas the other stations, they can get into Fresno. Our signal just doesn't. So I make sure we stay hyper-focused on the South Valley. If there are things going on in Visalia, in Hanford, in Tulare, in Porterville, I find out about it. If you know of something that I'm missing the ball on, Pesto, P-E-S-T-O at my975fm.com. I'm going to have you on at some point here very soon.
Yes, super excited about that.
Yeah,
yes, I don't think I've ever been on the radio.
Really?
Besides if I call in to win something.
Okay.
I've never.
You can still do that too, by the way.
Yes, let's call it. I love winning. I love
Speaking
winning
of which,
things, but
and this is my big draw. I do this every Monday. I'm glad you brought up winning. Nobody else in California does this. It's called Money Monday.
Money Monday.
On every Monday, 7:10, I buy with my own money a $10 California lottery scratcher.
Ooh.
It's $1 million payday if it wins.
Yeah.
So the deal is, I scratch the scratcher.
Okay.
I scratch half of it on the air. The other half I do with a Facebook Live video. I kick off right at 7:10. If that scratcher wins $100 or less, later on that morning, you can win every penny on the scratcher.
Okay.
If it's more than $100, like if it's the million, we will split it 50-50.
There you go.
And we will figure that out.
Yeah.
We haven't hit the million yet, otherwise you would have heard about it.
I love it.
But I don't know of anyone else that legitimately
think
gives
so.
you a shot at your share of $1 million once a week.
I don't think
and
so.
And we do that every single Friday, or is it Monday?
Monday,
Monday
yeah.
at 7:10.
So make sure that when you're getting ready for work or when you're dropping the kids off at school, I'm telling you, put it on in your car. It'll be worth it. It can be life-changing.
Yeah, the kids may not like it as much because there's songs that, again, are older. They're all familiar favorites, but if they could put on Hits 104.9 on the way to school, as soon as you drop them off, put on my 97.5.
Or you know what? Just put it on my 97.5. They can be quiet.
I like to think it.
When they're driving, they can pick the channel.
Yes. That's the rule, isn't it? Whoever drives gets to pick. Thank you.
That's
High five.
just the rule.
All right.
It's just how it goes. All right, Mike, it was such a pleasure.
My pleasure.
Yes, I want to go on the radio. I definitely want to do that. It's going to be my time to shine on the radio.
Yes.
They say I have a face for TV, though. No.
Yes, you do.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We'll let you go. Anything else you want to throw out there to the community before we do that?
No, just stay plugged in as much as you can. Again, on the radio, on our socials, my975fm.com. You can stream us there. Check out our podcast as well. And we'll keep you as plugged into the South Valley as we possibly can.
Absolutely. Thanks for letting us get to know you.
My pleasure.
Yes. We'll see you guys.